Hi, I'm Gina. Before I dive into this whirlwind of a story, please make sure to like and subscribe for more. Trust me, you don't want to miss what I've got to share. The sun was shining bright, and birds were chirping melodically on what was supposed to be the happiest day for my family. My brother, the most easygoing guy, was getting hitched to his college sweetheart, Amanda. I was beyond thrilled. I had spent weeks helping with wedding preparations, from flower arrangements to seat planning. I arrived at the venue early, clad in my soft blue bridesmaid dress, ready to help with any last-minute details. The hall was adorned elegantly, an air of excitement buzzing around. Little did I know, this day would turn into a nightmare. "Gina, can you check on Amanda? She seems a bit stressed," my brother whispered to me with a concerned look. I nodded, making my way to the bride's room. The moment I stepped in, I was met with a wave of tension. Amanda, in her gorgeous white gown, was pacing frantically. "What's wrong, Amanda?" I asked gently. "My dress. Look at this stain. Did you do this?" Amanda's eyes were fiery, her voice laced with accusation. I was taken aback. "No, Amanda, I didn't even—" She didn't let me finish. Her hand flew to my hair, gripping it tightly, pulling me down. The pain was immediate and sharp. Her other hand landed on my face, leaving a stinging sensation. I stumbled back, clutching my eye, tears blurring my vision. "Get out!" Amanda screamed, her face contorted in rage. I stumbled out, disoriented and hurt. The corridor was empty. No one had witnessed what just happened. I leaned against the wall, trying to process the shock. My eye throbbed painfully. I knew it was going to swell. The wedding proceeded despite the turmoil churning inside me. I watched from a distance, my vision blurred not just from the tears, but also the swelling black eye. I wanted to scream, to tell everyone what Amanda had done. But looking at my brother, so happy and oblivious, I held back. He didn't deserve to have his big day ruined. Amanda walked down the aisle, radiant as ever. She glanced my way, a smug smile briefly crossing her face. It was clear, she felt no remorse. The ceremony was a blur. Whispers about my appearance circulated. I caught snippets. "Did you see Gina's eye? What happened to her?" I felt humiliated, like a spectacle. At the reception, I avoided everyone, especially Amanda. My brother caught up with me eventually. "Hey, Gina, are you okay? What happened to your eye?" I forced a smile. "Just an accident, don't worry about it." He looked concerned, but didn't press further. I knew he had a lot on his plate. As the night wore on, the incident replayed in my mind. The pain in my eye was nothing compared to the betrayal and anger boiling within me. Amanda had assaulted me, and no one knew. She continued to bask in the glory of her wedding day, while I stood in the shadows, nursing both a physical and emotional wound. This was not just an assault. It was a blatant disrespect, a display of her toxic nature. I left early, unable to bear the facade of happiness. Alone in my car, the tears I had been holding back finally spilled. The drive home was long and silent, except for the occasional sniffle and the soft patter of my tears. The night was long, my mind racing with plans and possibilities. The next morning, I woke up with a resolve stronger than ever. It was time to set things right, but it had to be done smartly and carefully. Revenge was not about acting in haste. It was about acting with precision. And so, my journey of retribution began. It wasn't just about my black eye anymore. It was about exposing a toxic person and ensuring justice was served. Stay tuned to see how this unfolds. Remember to like and subscribe for the upcoming chapter where things really start to get interesting. The sun barely peeked through the curtains as I tossed and turned, trying to find a semblance of comfort. The events of the wedding replayed in my mind like a broken record. My black eye was a painful reminder of Amanda's true nature. I dragged myself out of bed and made my way to the kitchen. The reflection in the mirror was disheartening, a vivid black eye, a stark contrast to my usual appearance. That's when my phone buzzed. It was a text from my best friend, Liz. "Gina, saw your post about the wedding. What the heck happened to your eye?" I sighed and texted back. "Need to talk. Can you come over?" "Be there in 20, she replied. The doorbell rang, and there stood Liz, worry etched on her face. "Gina, you look—" "What happened?" "It was Amanda. She attacked me." Attacked you? Liz was aghast. Yeah, over a misunderstanding about her dress. We sat down, and I narrated the entire incident. Liz's face shifted from shock to anger. That's insane, Gina. You can't just let this go. I nodded, a determined look on my face. I won't. I'm going to expose her for who she really is. But how? You need proof, right? That's where I need your help, Liz. We need to dig into Amanda's past. There have to be others she's wronged. Liz was in immediately. You got it. Let's bring her down. Our first stop was Amanda's college. We decided to pose as alumni gathering information for a reunion. Hey, we're collecting fun stories and anecdotes for the college reunion. Anything on Amanda? I casually asked a group of her former classmates. One girl, now a young woman, looked hesitant. Well, there was this one time. She told us about an incident where Amanda had sabotaged another student's project out of jealousy. It was our first piece of evidence. With each story, my resolve hardened. We gathered testimonies, discreetly recording them on our phones. Returning home, I compiled everything. The audio clips, the stories, the patterns of behavior. It was damning evidence of Amanda's toxic traits. I need to show this to my brother, I said, determination lacing my voice. He has to see this before it's too late. Liz nodded, supportive yet concerned. Be careful, Gina. This could backfire. I know, but he deserves the truth. Our next step was to plan a gathering. I wanted to confront Amanda in front of family and friends, to expose her with witnesses around. I couldn't sleep that night, thoughts racing through my head. It was clear now. I needed more than just evidence. I needed allies, people who had seen Amanda's true colors. So I decided to reach out to those who had also been wronged by her. I visited Amanda's former workplace. The coworker who had hinted at her misdeeds was more than willing to talk once she knew she wasn't alone. We've all been there. Amanda was a nightmare, she confessed. I gathered their stories, ensuring their anonymity. With a growing list of allies, I started a subtle online campaign. A dedicated, anonymous social media page seemed perfect. Real faces of our society. A platform to share stories of workplace bullying and misconduct. New post, the mask of manipulation. The first story was a veiled reference to Amanda, detailing her sabotaging a colleague's project. The post caught on quickly, shared, and commented on. Word of mouth was equally effective. I networked at social gatherings, strategically sharing snippets of Amanda's past. The key was subtlety. It wasn't a direct attack, but a gradual erosion of her facade. I made sure these stories found their way to my brother. Have you heard about this new page? Real Faces of Our Society? It's eye-opening, I mentioned casually over dinner. His interest piqued, and he started following the page, unaware of my involvement. The seeds of doubt were planted. Amanda's workplace was next. One of her colleagues, who had heard about the page, started connecting the dots. Isn't this similar to what happened with Amanda last year? She pondered aloud in the office. The rumors began to swirl. As days passed, the tension in Amanda's life became palpable. She started feeling the heat, her perfect image slowly crumbling. Her interactions at work became strained. Colleagues began to view her with suspicion. At home, my brother grew increasingly distant from her. The stories, the whispers, they were taking a toll. He was beginning to see the truth behind the mask. One evening, as I scrolled through the social media page, a new message popped up. I think we have a lot in common regarding Amanda. Can we meet? The sender was someone from Amanda's current workplace. We met at a discreet location. She was cautious, but her resolve was clear. Amanda has been creating a toxic environment here. I have proof. She handed me a folder, filled with email exchanges, showing Amanda's manipulative behavior. It was a goldmine. The stage was set. My network of allies had spread the truth far and wide. Amanda's image was shaking, her relationships strained. The final act was approaching, and I was ready to bring down the curtain on her charade. My brother, once blind to Amanda's faults, was now seeing her for who she really was. The rift between them was growing. Their once happy marriage now a battleground of cold stares and silent dinners. I watched as Amanda tried to cling to her slipping mask, unaware that the final blow was yet to come. I had everything I needed to expose her completely, but this wasn't just about exposure anymore. It was about justice, about ensuring that someone like Amanda couldn't harm others like she did to me, and many more. My plan was coming to fruition, but I knew the hardest part was still ahead. The upcoming chapter is where everything comes to a head. Amanda's past catches up to her in a way she never anticipated, and my brother faces the hard truth. Stay tuned, and remember to like and subscribe for the explosive continuation of this tale of justice. The air was thick with tension at the annual family barbecue, a perfect stage for Amanda's facade to crumble. My brother, once oblivious, now carried a look of disillusionment. I could see the turmoil in his eyes. The guests mingled, oblivious to the storm brewing. Amanda, in her usual charming persona, was laughing a bit too loudly, trying to mask her growing unease. The stories and rumors had begun to circle her world, tainting her once impeccable image. "Gina, your garden looks lovely," Aunt Martha complimented, breaking my train of thought. "Thanks, Aunt Martha. It's been a labor of love." Then Amanda approached us, her smile faltering as she caught my eye. "Lovely day, isn't it, Gina?" "The sun is shining despite the clouds," I replied, a hidden jab at her current predicament. As the afternoon progressed, my brother pulled Amanda aside, a sense of finality in his movements. I edged closer, pretending to fuss over the grill. "Amanda, we need to talk. I've been hearing things. Troubling things." "What things?" "You know people just love to gossip. It's more than that. There are stories, evidence of things you've done. To colleagues, classmates. Things you did to Gina." Amanda scoffed. "You're going to believe these baseless accusations over your own wife?" "They're not baseless. I've seen the proof, Amanda. Why did you lie?" Her facade started to crack, her voice rising. "So what? I did what I had to do to get ahead. You should be grateful you have a wife who's not a pushover." The guests began to take notice, their attention shifting towards the brewing confrontation. "Amanda, you hurt people. You hurt Gina. How can I overlook that?" I watched as Amanda's mask slipped completely. The sweet, charming bride was gone, replaced by a woman seething with anger. "I did what was necessary. Gina was always in the way, always trying to outshine me." I stepped closer. "Outshine you? All I ever did was support my brother. But you couldn't stand anyone else getting attention." The guests were now fully tuned in, the whispers growing louder. "You're all just jealous. I'm better than any of you." My brother's expression was a mix of anger and heartbreak. "I can't believe I didn't see it before. How could I have been so blind?" "Because you only see what you want to see." "But not anymore. The truth is out, Amanda." Her rage bubbled over. "I don't need any of you. I don't need this pathetic family." As Amanda stormed off, the guests murmured among themselves, the reality of her nature sinking in. My brother stood there, a mix of relief and sadness washing over him. "Gina, I'm sorry. I should have seen it." "It's not your fault. She's good at hiding who she really is." As the event wound down, the mood was somber. The truth had been revealed, but at the cost of my brother's happiness. Yet, there was a sense of closure, a feeling of a storm past. Amanda's colleagues, who were also present, shared their own experiences, adding to the undeniable truth of her character. Her reputation at work would never be the same. The family rallied around my brother, offering support and understanding. For the first time in a long time, I felt a sense of unity and strength in our family. As I watched Amanda drive away, I knew this was just the beginning of her downfall. The truth was out, and there was no going back. The next chapter would be the final act of this drama, where Amanda faces the full consequences of her actions. Stay tuned, and don't forget to like and subscribe to follow this tale to its rightful end. The dust had settled after Amanda's departure, leaving a bittersweet atmosphere in its wake. We gathered, a smaller, closer group this time, in our family home. The walls echoed with the unspoken aftermath of recent events, and there was a collective sense of relief mixed with sadness. My brother, once jovial and light-hearted, now carried the weight of a broken marriage on his shoulders. But there was also a clarity in his eyes, a dawning of painful yet necessary truth. He broke the silence. "I've decided to separate from Amanda. It's not easy, but it's clear now that it's the right thing to do." The family nodded in agreement, their faces a mix of sympathy and support. "I'm sorry, Gina. I should have listened to you from the start." "Don't be. You believed in love, and that's not a fault. Now it's about healing and moving forward." Aunt Martha chimed in. "You're both strong. You'll get through this. We're here for you." The conversation shifted to lighter topics, an attempt to lift the heavy air. Laughter slowly crept back, a testament to the resilience of our family bond. As the evening drew to a close, I excused myself and stepped outside. The stars twinkled in the clear night sky, a reminder of life's vast and beautiful mysteries. The next day brought with it a sense of renewal. I decided to visit my favorite cafe, a place where I had spent many hours dreaming and planning. The familiar smells and sounds greeted me like an old friend. As I sipped my coffee, I reflected on the tumultuous events. Yes, there was satisfaction in Amanda facing the consequences of her actions, but there was no joy in my brother's pain. Yet, there was a sense of justice, a feeling that right had been done. My phone buzzed. It was a message from my brother. "Hey, Gina, just wanted to say thank you for everything." A smile tugged at my lips. "Always here for you. Coffee tomorrow?" "Sounds perfect." I gazed out of the cafe window, watching the world go by. People with their own stories, their own struggles and triumphs. It was time to focus on my own story now, to build a life that was not defined by the past, but inspired by it. I started to plan a trip, something I had always wanted to do, but never got around to. Traveling alone, exploring new places, meeting new people. It was exciting, a step towards my own growth and happiness. The cafe owner, Mrs. Jenkins, approached me. "You look deep in thought, Gina. Everything all right?" "Better than all right, Mrs. Jenkins. I'm planning a trip, a new adventure." "That sounds wonderful. Sometimes a change of scenery is just what the soul needs." I nodded in agreement. Exactly. A new chapter. As I left the cafe, I felt lighter, like a weight had been lifted. The world was full of possibilities, and I was ready to explore them. I looked forward to coffee with my brother the next day, to planning my trip, to the unknown adventures that lay ahead. Life had thrown its curveballs, but it had also shown me my strength and the value of truth and justice. This story, my story, was one of overcoming, of facing challenges head-on. And as I walked down the street, the sun shining and a gentle breeze in the air, I realized that this was just the beginning. There were more stories to be told, more lessons to be learned, and more life to be lived. And so, I step into this new chapter with an open heart and an eager spirit, ready for whatever comes my way. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories, more adventures, and more of life as it unfolds. As we close this chapter of our story, it leaves us with a thought-provoking question. In situations like these, is seeking revenge truly the right path? Or should one always strive for forgiveness and understanding, even in the face of betrayal and hurt? It's a dilemma between justice and mercy, and I'm curious to know your perspective. How would you navigate such a situation? Please, share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Your insights add so much depth to our community.